All right, I'm going to go ahead and spotlight Jessica. We'll begin with her. Jessica, feel free.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Edgar. And good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. It's our morning. It's Juan's evening in Spain. But here in Houston, it is a balmy Thursday morning. So I appreciate you all joining us. Yesterday's announcement was a very exciting moment for the club. We have a lot of incredible things in the works, but this particular announcement was something that we've been working on. I've been working on for quite some time. Hope to be at this point sooner, but at the same time felt very important to us to not rush a hire like this. So we've arrived at a point where we're absolutely thrilled to welcome Juan to the team, and we can get into it a little bit later. But to give some background, when the announcement was made about the results and suggestions of the ongoing investigation, we immediately wanted to make sure that the role of the interim head coach was one that we took very seriously. That was also based on feedback from the players. I had conversations with them right away about that sort of the next steps of how does this work, because we're 6 days away from starting the season. And what transpired was obviously us naming Sarah acting head coach. The plan was, and I believe we referenced it when we named Sarah acting head coach, was to have a search process for an interim head coach. And Sarah knew that, the team knew that. We were very open with them about the fact that we'd be looking for somebody with head coaching experience at the professional level within the women's game. So those pieces were sort of our parameters. We worked with a search firm to help us ensure that our search was as thorough as possible. And that part was vital for us in making sure that we spoke to a variety of candidates with a variety of backgrounds across the world. It was a truly global search. And we landed on Juan Carlos, and it was one of those conversations that I had briefly an introduction Zoom call with him, and right away felt like this could be it. But it was also important that we continue to discuss, that we brought more folks into the fold, that Ted Siegel and our leadership team had a conversation with him, that Sarah was involved as well. So I did not want to act on my gut feeling, obviously, but very excited to be at this point. Juan's had a busy time catching up with our coaching staff, frequent communication with Sarah, spoke with the players yesterday via Zoom, obviously, until we can get him here. But we're thrilled to welcome him and his family to the family, and obviously to Houston here very soon. And just excited about the experience that he brings, the energy that he brings, and what that will mean for the direction of the Dash, obviously the rest of the season, and evaluate at the end of the season sort of the next step options. But the fact that he chose Houston and chose a career in the NWSL is something that we're very happy to see through.
Thank you for that. Turn it over to Juan. Juan, go ahead.
Well, first of all, thank you, Jessica. And from the first moment, it's been fantastic to start working with you and with Ted and with the club. The reason for me to be joining Houston, it was quite clear. I think I shared the vision of how they embrace women's soccer and what they see of the club, not only for now, but also for the future. I would like to also thank you all for being here. I'm quite used to working with the media. I know how much effort you guys put to report on what we do, to give a good coverage on every aspect, and you are key in this case, for me and for the club to get to every fan. So thank you all for being here, and I really hope that I can get there in person. For me, as Jessica said, maybe there was some other options. I've been coaching, probably you all know, I've been coaching in Spurs for 10 seasons, the last few seasons at the top level. And I moved to Spain, coach here. But when the opportunity came to join a league like the NWSL and a club with the potential, not only for now, but also, for the future, I think it was a no-brainer. I really wanted to be part of it. And from now on, I'm going to give myself to make sure all the fans in Houston enjoy with our football. That's my target, that we can really affect people with our soccer, making sure that whatever happens on the pitch, we will always try to dominate games, play with, dominate possession, be aggressive on counterattacks, and try to do a soccer that whatever happens at the end of the game, the people that comes to watch or that watch on tele is quickly checking when we are playing again, because we want to create that connection with our city, with our fans, and with the community. So I'm more than happy. Please feel free to ask any questions you might have. I'm sure you will have some interesting talking points to go through. So Edgar, if you want to open the floor to them, I will be more than happy to answer the questions they might have.
Absolutely. We'll start with Danielle Lerner from the Houston Chronicle. Danielle, go ahead.
Hi, Juan. Nice to meet you. My question is, you talked about why you thought the Dash was a good fit, but any interim position, there's some level of risk involved in taking a job like that. Why did you feel like that was something that you wanted to do?
And in that case, that's something that in my world, in the world of coaching, it happens very often. It happens all over the world, really. Like these positions, sometimes that come up in the middle of the season, with that job title of interim is to make an impact, and it's maybe different to when you join at the beginning of the year, of the season. But realistically, I don't look at the job title. I look at the opportunity. I think the opportunity to be with the Dash, and as I said, with the project they have in hands, with what they want to do for the players, what they want to do for the staff, for the city, is something I really identify myself with. So I think I'm not really focused on the job title. I'm more focused on the job ahead. That is very exciting, Daniel.
And then just looking at the NWSL as a whole, having coached in some of the other top women's leagues in the world, I mean, what about the state of the league right now appeals to you, and what do you think are going to be maybe challenges or differences coaching in this league than in other ones?
Well, I think maybe the style of football is a bit more similar to what England was in terms of a lot of transitions, a lot of athleticism, but I can definitely bring in a little bit of our tactical, technical approach to the game that I believe, and I have had the chance to work with some players in the team, with some players that as well in the league, or that came from the league to the club where I was, and it's very exciting. It's a challenge at the end of the day. Every team, not only every league, every team that you coach is different environment, different players. And the challenge there is another one that is a bit different, but I think that I can make an impact and help the players to grow and to become a little bit better. So yeah, I think it's exciting. The NWSL for me is the top league in the world, where the most of the world champion players, or at the moment with all the American players coming back, they are there. Some of the top players want to go there. It's a league that has been a reference for a long time, and not only the league, also the culture of women's soccer in America. From when I was there, it was special. So I'm really looking forward to get there.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome, Daniel.
Up next, we'll go with Steph Yang from The Athletic. Go ahead.
Thanks, Steph Young from The Athletic. Thank you for your time, Juan. I just want to ask you to expand a little more on what you just talked about, where you have different experiences in different leagues in England and Spain. You've talked about this before, adapting to the local culture, the local style of play. And you mentioned you like being aggressive in the counter press. So for example, I think NWSL is a league that has a reputation for having highly athletic players, maybe some of the most athletic players in the world. So for example, how would that, how would that impact, your analysis of the strengths that you would like to develop here in NWSL as opposed to, adapting in England and Spain?
Yeah, well, I think in modern soccer, you have to manage every aspect. You need to be, it's not anymore like you're gonna be able to dominate possession for 80% of the game and from there win the game. That just doesn't happen if you look across the world. No, you in any kind of soccer. So you have to be really good on possession, but you have to be good on the counter press, defending organized on the block, and then on the counter attack. So I think it will be a question of obviously analyzing the opposition, but I'm a coach that I really believe that exploiting our strengths is going to be the key. The team has a lot of players that can do both, that can be very good in possession, but at the same time, we have a team that can be aggressive with the space. And we have, as we've been showing, thanks to the fantastic job that Sarah and the rest of the staff are doing, that we are a team hard to beat when we are organized defensive. Up to the last game, we have the best defensive record. So it will be a question of making sure I can help them on each and every aspect, and from there try to do our best to get into those playoffs for the first time in the club's history.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Up next, we'll go ahead and go with Theo from the striker. Go ahead, Theo.
Hi, nice to see you again, Juan. How you doing?
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Theo.
I have a question for Jess as well as Juan, if that's all right. What stuck out to you about Juan in the search process?
Thanks, Theo. It's interesting because I truly felt the energy and the passion that he has in not just the coaching opportunity in that ecosystem, but truly the holistic view of the entire soccer operation. We talked a lot about the pieces around the team, the staff, the medical staff, performance staff, and those types of questions showed me, that while training on the field and performing in matches is obviously a lot of what we speak about with the players, that he truly has a view and an appreciation for the entire system. So it was the questions that he was asking that were very thoughtful, the energy and the passion, and a true excitement about Houston and the Dash and this opportunity. There is a familiarity with a couple players on our team that had played for him and with him at Batiste. So I think in that regard, he had heard about the club and what was happening here, and that the fact that he was so excited about Houston really stuck out with me, because obviously I'm biased and think that this city and this club is going to make massive strides in the league, and we will do that. And to do that, we need the absolute best pieces possible around the entire ecosystem of the players. And I think we got one.
Does that make Juan's appointment kind of part of your long-term vision, or do you see Juan as a long-term part of this club?
I do. I think it's a great question. It was actually, so I alluded earlier to some of the feedback in the initial conversations with the players about the direction with an interim coach that you could go, which maybe surprised a couple of people yesterday. The timing of the announcement, we're in the middle of the season, but the important thing was that, and this was a request directly from them, was that an external interim hire be something and someone that we see having a long-term future with the club, rather than finding, a short-term solution to carry us through the season. Obviously, circumstances around where we are as a club, is part of the reason for that structure right now. But we did this search, Theo, to answer your question, with a long-term plan in mind.
Thank you very much for the clarification, Jess. Juan, how was your first conversation with Sarah, and what are you looking forward to in regards to your relationship with her?
Well, I was first of all, thank you, Jessica. I'm really pleased that the passion is something that people can feel from me, because that's one of my values. I really believe that soccer, it's, everyone that is involved with soccer, it's because it was their passion when they were a child. I'm not different, so I'm happy that I'm still, projecting that image. And regarding Sarah, I was extremely surprised, like someone like her that maybe is going in a role that she wasn't expecting to be in, and that she's been with the club for such a short period of time before that happened. So she probably didn't know all the, everything within it, because it takes some time to do that. And to do the role how she was doing, it was already something to admire. But at the same time, her attention to detail, her way to, adapt to that Jessica was saying, like coaches, maybe people still see us like, like the ones that go on the field, say we play 3-4-3 or 4-4-2 diamond, or whatever formation you want to play, and then go home. But it's much more than that, and it's not easy, because nobody really teaches you that, how to manage people, how to manage different departments that are completely different to soccer. And she really stepped into that role and has done fantastically well. When I was asking her how she was doing different things, she was doing the right things, or keeping, how we say, the boat steady until a new captain come on board. No, so for me that really caught my attention, and her football knowledge and how she was approaching things, how she was finding solutions for the problems that were coming up on the pitch. She was brilliant. So for me, I've been already working a little bit with her on the, as Jessica said, on Zooms, and the same with the rest of the coaching team. They are fantastic. They are very committed. Hero, Michael, Matt, and the medical team. It's a very exciting team to work for, because you can feel that they are really passionate about it, and that they are really focused and committed to do the best they can for the club, for the players, and for the fans. So yeah, I'm really excited to get to know her in person and maybe stop talking via Zoom. That it's been difficult.
Last one from me, Juan. How has the reaction been 24 hours into being unveiled? How are you feeling about kind of what you've seen from people who've reached out to you or from Twitter, online, whatever?
Yeah, to be fair, I was saying it before, I haven't been able to catch up with the impact that this news has had on the professional side. People that, like all the coaches from the top leagues, players that I've coached, fans from clubs that I've worked for, they've been fantastic, because one thing that for me is very important, and we spoke with Jessica about it, is the legacy you leave in the places is very important. By that, I mean, every person really goes to somewhere and at some point leaves, and it's what you leave behind is what really matters, because that is the way you will be remembered. That's something I learned from my dad, so I think it's very important. And also the people from Houston, it's been unbelievable. I'm used to the language now. They've been fantastic. It's been really supportive. The fans, I can't wait really to get there and start, contacting with them in person, and hopefully getting to know them, getting to have fun with us. And even some people in the NWSL that I've worked for before, they've made public, like signs of happiness when they've heard I'm getting there. So I'm really excited and thrilled by the welcome, not only in America, which is fantastic, but also here in Europe.
Thanks so much for your time today, Juan. Jess, cheers.
Thank you, Theo.
Up next, we'll go with Grant. Grant, go ahead.
Grant Wiedenfeld with Keeper Notes. Bienvenido a Houston, señor. Es bueno que haya un director hispanohablante. Hay muchos hispanohablantes de lengua materna, no como yo, en Houston, y también las relaciones con la Liga MX, algunos clubes allá. Quería saber si has hablado con algunos jugadores, quiénes y de qué hablarán.
Bueno, muchas gracias. Should I answer in Spanish then? I guess so, ¿no? Sí, pues he hablado con todo el equipo ya. Ya me he introducido a todas, me he presentado. Ha sido fantástico el por fin poder entrar en contacto con todas ellas. Creo que la bienvenida por su parte ha sido espectacular. También ellas hablaron y expresaron su felicidad de recibirme, que habían escuchado muy buenas cosas sobre mí, lo cual me agrada, ¿no? Porque yo cuando entrené, por ejemplo, a las dos jugadoras que entrené, en ningún momento pensábamos que ellas iban a acabar en Houston o que ellas iban a acabar juntas o que en un momento iba a acabar yo también entrenándolas allí. Y creo que cuando hemos hablado con el equipo, la bienvenida ha sido espectacular. Como Rachel está con la selección, Jane Campbell, que es la capitana, pues también expresó un poco el sentir del equipo. Otras compañeras como Eddie preguntaron si iba a ser capaz que yo pudiera ir con mi familia. Fueron momentos bonitos y que te hacen el sentirte bienvenido en la distancia, creo que hacen las cosas más fáciles, ¿no?
Sí, gracias. Y Jessica dijo que conociste a algunos jugadores antes. ¿Es Michaela o otra? No sé.
Sí, Michaela Abam y Natalie Jacobs. Michaela Abam, cuando yo firmé por el Betis, ella estaba aquí, estaba lesionada, pero al final de la temporada ya pudo jugar algunos partidos. Yo desde el principio, para mí, parte de lo que hago es intentar afectar a todas las jugadoras y el prestarles la mayor atención individualmente para ayudarlas a mejorar. Entonces, con Micaela, aunque estuviese lesionada, pues siempre intentaba participar en sus sesiones o tener una relación con ella positiva para que también se sintiera parte del grupo, y al final pues mantuvimos, ¿no? esa buena relación que le ayudó a volver al campo. Y Natalie pues venía también de una experiencia que no estaba muy contenta en Estados Unidos. A través de algunos contactos que tenía yo conseguimos traerla aquí al Real Betis, estuvo muy contenta, creo que encontró un nivel muy bueno futbolístico. En Navidad ya estaba un poco apalabrado que iba a volver allí a Estados Unidos y al final ha acabado allí en Houston y para mí será un placer y el volver a tenerlas en el equipo, ¿no? Y luego una cosa que a lo mejor te quería comentar antes que has mencionado, ¿no? Que es la Liga MX mexicana. Creo que también esas relaciones, ¿no? Pues sobre todo yo también estuve en Arizona, en California, donde como tú has dicho hay muchos hispanohablantes. Creo que esa relación es muy importante para que, no sé, en el futuro igual una competición donde compitan los equipos de la confederación de allí con los equipos mexicanos, creo que sería algo fantástico y que incrementaría incluso más, ¿no? La atención tan grande que tiene el fútbol tanto en México, el fútbol femenino, como en México y en Estados Unidos, ¿no?
Sí, sí. Muchas gracias y encantado. And Edgar, if I could ask one question of Jessica.
Sure thing. We'll flip over.
Thanks. Jessica, the announcement talked about how Sarah Loudon would continue to be, would be the first assistant. So I was just, she sounds like she's also, kind of a long-term part of the future for the Dash. I was wondering if she was involved in any kind of licensing programs. One of the great parts of Juan's resume is that he has the highest UEFA Pro licenses. If there was that or anything else to Sarah's involvement.
It's a great question, Grant. I believe in general, we have asked her to do what it was almost an impossible task when you look at when she joined the club time-wise, and the date in which I called and said, we'd like you to serve as our acting head coach. And we realized that's a big ask. And can you think about it and let me know? Since then, she has done a phenomenal job at, leading the team, collaborating with the team and the staff, having such an empathetic and thoughtful approach. I can't say enough great things about her. So for me, the sort of icing on the cake of this announcement is that we can do two things. We can bring in someone with the experience and leadership that Juan has, and that we can retain Sarah and elevate her from, we did not have previously a first assistant clarified in our structure. So it gave us an opportunity to do that. We elected not to use the word promotion because obviously she's serving in a larger role right now. But yes, we want to support her. I think it's a great point about ensuring that there's investment behind that support in preparing her for the next step of her career. Her opinion and thoughts behind the conversation she had with Juan were very important to us because she's with the team every single day and has a great understanding of what the team needs and has been able to be what the team needs and would know sort of that next step piece. So yes, we'd love to continue supporting her, however that looks, including evaluating what we can do to help propel her as long as we can retain her. Obviously, understand that she's got a very, very bright future ahead of her.
Great, thank you. And reading between the lines, it seemed, I gather that there's no update on the Clarkson investigation, no timeline for it. It's just indefinitely
Correct.
out there. Is that right? Okay.
That's correct.
Thank you very much.
You could have asked me in Spanish. I hablo un poco de español, pero yo prefiero inglés en esta situación. That's all I got.
Up next, we'll switch things over to Adam. Adam Wickler, go ahead.
Hi there, Juan. Congratulations. We're going to have a lot of time to talk Dash once you get here, but I kind of want to ask you about the big story of the day here in Houston. When you do get here to Houston, we could potentially be a World Cup city. And everything we've heard about, landing a bid to host a men's World Cup, it tells us that it'll kind of elevate our soccer profile, men, women, youth, pro soccer. Somebody with vast international experience like you, I wonder what that would mean to someone like you coming to a city that is going to be known for potentially hosting a World Cup.
Well, I think it will be a dream come true because, funny enough, the USA in 1994 for me was the first World Cup that I completely remembered, and it was an important moment for my life. So being part of a city that's going to host the World Cup in, like some years after, I think it's going to be unbelievable. I think it will be massive for the city, not only for soccer, for everything related to it. Obviously, becoming a host of such an event, the most important event on soccer for me, even more important than the Olympics because of what I like. But I think it will be unbelievable. I think it will create even more. Even if it's a soccer city, it will create even more love for the game. It will create jobs. It will create revenue. It will create attention from all over the world. It will put Houston. Obviously, Houston is a very famous city because obviously all the sports that are played in there. But if Houston becomes a hosting city, that I believe is going to be today at my 11 p.m., which is I think you're 4 p.m. or something. Yeah, am I right? I'm gonna try to be plugged in. I'm not sure. I need to speak with Edgar to see where I can see those news live, but I'm pretty sure that we will do something with our social media. It's an amazing moment, and it's something that if we can get it, and I really hope so that we could, it's gonna be a change, not only for soccer but for the whole community. So I'm really hoping that we can get it.
Thank you, Juan.
Yeah, welcome, Adam. I'm looking forward to speak about the Dash, as you said.
We have a follow-up here from Danielle. Go ahead.
Yeah, Jessica, I just wanted to clarify, you said that you guys used a search firm in this process and then Sarah was involved as well. Were there any players who were kind of involved on the front end of this, or were they just kind of brought in after you had maybe narrowed it down to Juan or a few other candidates?
Thanks, Danielle. We had conversations at the beginning of the process about the profile of the coach that, in their mind was what we needed, which was very helpful to have. And that's where we landed on searching for somebody with head coach experience within the women's leagues, women's game specifically, and at a pro level. Those were sort of our stepping stones. And the sort of anecdote behind that also was a conversation about beyond the experience, the person, the leadership, communication, values component that is so important to any organization, but absolutely in a leadership role like this. And I definitely believe we've found that.
Well, thank you.
Thanks.
Anything else before? Oh, one more here from Victor. Victor, go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, for Ms. O'Neill, just so to clarify, there's zero update on the James Clarkson thing. Nothing you can share as far as, I mean, is the NWSL keeping the club in the dark? And as far as how long this process can take, could it be over a year? I mean, and how is the club planning to handle that type of situation if it takes? I mean, what are we talking about? More than 2 years, 3 years? I mean, how long can this thing take?
Thanks, Victor, for the question. I know that is top of mind. Today, the celebration is about Juan joining our club, and I want to respect that. I also respect the question. I do not have any update on the timeline, but I am very excited about the point that we are at with the team right now. And I know that there's unanswered questions as it relates to the investigation. And when we have those answers to share, we will share them. But thank you for asking.
Just additionally, is the club doing anything internally to go backwards, maybe even to the hiring process, as far as what else they can find out internally?
Can you clarify when you ask the hiring process? The hiring process for
right, well, the hiring of James Clarkson was done by the previous sort of front office. Is there an investigation internally from the club to go all the way back to those days?
In general, part of the league and PA investigation that began last October with all clubs covered all facets of club operations, both at the league level and at the club level. So those evaluations about internal processes, league processes, communications, reporting mechanisms, all of those things have been the scope of the investigation that began in October.
And then one for Juan. Juan, si me permite, se la pregunto en español para que se pueda comunicar mejor. Usted estuvo en Estados Unidos por un tiempo, en alguno de esos tiempos que estuvo aquí en Estados Unidos, ¿cruzó alguna vez en su carrera con James Clarkson y ha tenido alguna interacción con el ex coach del Dash?
Pues no, la verdad que no he tenido ninguna interacción con él. Estuve hace mucho tiempo, fue un tiempo magnífico allí en la zona que estuve, ¿no? Tanto en California como en Arizona, donde entrené a entrenadores como entrenar, trabajé con algunos clubes élite, la compañía con la que trabajaba tenía un poco de relación con LA Galaxy, hicimos algunas cosas con ellos, pero no con James, no soy fan, no he tenido ningún contacto.
Muchas gracias.
De nada, Víctor, lo que necesites.
I think we've got last one here from Leopoldo. Leopoldo, go ahead. Maybe not. Okay, I think we'll close with that.
No, I'm here.
Gotcha, go ahead.
Jessica, when you were trying to hire, or when you were trying to hire a new coach, do you contemplate to hire a woman coach, or you don't have any agenda, just to find the best prospect possible?
That is correct. Thank you for the question. Yes, the goal was to find the best candidate possible. The group of finalists was a diverse group of finalists, but the goal certainly was to ensure that the best candidate based on who we spoke with was who we hired. But there was an intentionality in ensuring that the group that we spoke to covered all ages, races, genders, ethnicities, etc.
And any time when James was the coach, did you feel that the woman doesn't feel comfortable to be working with a man as a coach?
I think I heard part of your question, and I think I understand the premise. And again, I'm not comfortable commenting on that because it's part of the investigation at this point. I do appreciate the question, but I'd like to keep the focus on Juan joining the club and appreciate y'all asking and welcoming him with such warm regard.
Thank you, Jessica.
Okay, we'll close with that. Everyone, thank you very much for joining us. We'll have media available or media resources available later today. Then I'll see you all later today for the Dynamo media availability here at 12:30. Thank you for joining us. Have a good day.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Thank you.